Thanks for spending your Sunday evening here with us. Now, here's the host of your show, Kyle Fields.
Hey, welcome to Sunday Evening Reset. I'm Kyle Fields, and tonight we're diving into something a little different because, my friends, April Fool's Day is right around the corner. I'm talking big old Tuesday right around the corner, and that means we're gonna have some fun tonight. Now, I know what you're thinking. Kyle, what does April Fool's Day have to do with a reset? And to that, I say everything. See, life has a way of making us feel like the punchline to a joke we didn't sign up for. Sometimes we're fooled by our own doubts, fears, and insecurities. Sometimes we take ourselves way too seriously. And sometimes we just need to step back, laugh a little, and remember that not every battle has to be fought with a sword. Some just need some good humor and a punchline. So tonight, we're unpacking the art of the fool. The times we've been fooled, the times we've fooled ourselves, and how embracing a little lightheartedness can actually be a good power move in life. We got stories, we got laughs, and yes, we have wisdom, as always. So, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, settle in, and let's hit that reset button, April Fool's style. Alright, let's talk about the times we've been fooled. I mean, really fooled. Like, the kind of moments that make us cringe when we think back on them. You ever get hit with one of those too good to be true situations and then realize, oh no, I've made a mistake? Yeah, we all have. Now, I could sit here and talk about classic April Fool's Day pranks. Like the time Burger King tried to convince people they had a left-handed Whopper. Yes, that actually happened. After the show, Google it if you don't believe me. But honestly, life pulls way bigger pranks on us than any of that. You ever trust the wrong person and realize you were the fool? Have you ever believed a promise that was never going to be kept? Or, and this one is painful, have you ever hyped yourself up thinking you got the job, the gig, the opportunity, only to get hit with that "we've decided to go another direction" email? Oof. The thing about being fooled is that it's not just about falling for a joke. It's about misplaced trust, misplaced hope, misplaced expectations. And that stuff hurts. It can make us question everything, especially ourselves. But here's where it gets interesting. What if being fooled wasn't just something to be embarrassed about? What if it was actually a lesson in disguise? See, every time we've been fooled, we've learned something, right? Maybe we've learned to be more careful. Maybe we've learned that gut instincts exist for a reason. Maybe, just maybe, we learned that not everyone who smiles at us has good intentions. But more importantly, we learned we can bounce back. See, getting fooled doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And the real trick is not letting it turn you into someone who never trusts again, never hopes again, and never tries again. So yeah, we've all been fooled. But the joke's only on you if you don't grow from it. Now, speaking of fools, let's take a look at some of the biggest ones in pop culture. No, I'm not just talking about reality TV, though let's be honest, that's a goldmine. Up next, we're diving into how Hollywood has played with the idea of being a fool, sometimes for laughs, sometimes for something much deeper. All right, time to take a deeper dive into the realm of fools, but in the best way possible. You know those movies where you just can't help but laugh at the character who gets totally taken for a ride? The ones who are lovable, hilarious, and a little out there? Well, let's kick this segment off with one of the ultimate examples. Dinner for Schmucks. If you haven't seen it, let me give you a quick rundown. It's a movie about a group of wealthy, successful people who have this bizarre tradition of inviting the most ridiculous people to dinner, just so they can poke fun at them. Enter Steve Carell's character, Barry, an unassuming, quirky guy who collects taxidermied animals. He's the perfect fool for the dinner, right? But here's the thing. Through all the mockery and laughter, we start to see Barry for what he really is. A guy who's just trying to find connection and isn't all that different from the people laughing at it. It's a movie that teaches us something pretty profound. Sometimes the joke's on us. We laugh at people we think are fools. But in the end, we realize they're just doing their best. And sometimes that's all we can really ask for. And sometimes that's more than what we are doing. So while Barry is making us crack up, he's also making us think. Maybe we shouldn't be so quick to point and laugh. But hey, enough with the deep stuff. Let's lighten things up with a couple of classic comedies where the fools don't just make us laugh, they make us feel like we're in on the joke. I'm talking about movies like Dumb and Dumber, where Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels play two friends who are so clueless it's almost painful to watch. But here's the thing. That's the beauty of it. Their charm is in their absurdity. Their pure, unrelenting lack of common sense is what makes them lovable. They're fools. But they're our fools. They're the kind of characters who remind us not to take life too seriously, even when everything is going completely sideways. And how about Anchorman? Oh man, Ron Burgundy. That guy's got the confidence of a lion and the brains of, well, not a lion. But we love him for it because what Ron Burgundy teaches us is that sometimes the biggest fool is the one who just keeps going, who never lets self-doubt creep in, even when it's painfully obvious that he probably should. Now, let's talk about Zoolander. Ben Stiller. He plays the dim-witted yet endearing Derek Zoolander, a masterclass in playing the fool. It's a role that becomes iconic, and it shows just how much charm and wit can be found in being a little, well, foolish. And before we wrap up, I want to give a shout out to those actors and actresses who seem born to play the fool. Because let's be real, some of our favorite movie moments come from their hilarious antics. So when I think of those people, this is who I think of. Jim Carrey at the top, whose over-the-top performances in Ace Ventura, The Mask, and many more have made him a staple in comedy. Next, we have Will Ferrell, who has a knack for transforming even the silliest role into a laugh-out-loud experience in films, like Anchorman, Step Brothers, Talladega Nights. And of course, Ben Stiller, our resident fool, who not only shines in Zoolander, but also delivers unforgettable moments in films like Tropic Thunder. And yes, even that wild scene from Happy Gilmore where he's channeling his inner rebel and yells, "You're in my world now, Grandma." That punchline still cracks me up every time, and I use it daily. And let's not forget Kristen Wiig, whose quirky, offbeat character in movies like Bridesmaids have cemented her status as one of the best at embracing her inner fool. These performers remind us that sometimes being a fool isn't a flaw, it's an art form. They show us that letting go and laughing at ourselves and not taking life too seriously can be some of the most liberating lessons of all. So whether you find yourself laughing at a ridiculous dinner invitation or quoting a classic line from a favorite film, remember, it's the foolish moments that make life a little sweeter and a lot more fun.
Hey everyone, ready to laugh your socks off? Today, we're diving into some hilarious facts about April Fool's Day. You know, that one day a year where it's totally okay to trick your friends, family, and maybe even your teachers? Just kidding. We're talking about the pranks, the history, and the side-splitting stories that make April Fool's Day the most hilarious 24 hours on the calendar. So buckle up and let's jump right in. Picture this. It's the 1500s, you're rocking some fancy tights and a big puffy shirt, and you just heard that France is switching calendars. It's a big deal and everyone is talking about it. They're ditching the old Julian calendar and going all in on the Gregorian calendar. This change is supposed to make things more accurate, but, as you can imagine, some people just couldn't handle the change. They were baffled and didn't know what to do. They kept celebrating New Year's Day in April, sticking to the old ways, and everyone thought they were, well, fools. Those poor calendar-confused folks became the original April Fools. They were teased and laughed at by everyone around them. They may have been the original fools, but they paved the way for all the hilarious shenanigans we enjoy today. From simple pranks to elaborate hoaxes, it all started with them. Okay, let's fast forward to 1957. The place, England, the culprit, the BBC. In an era where television was still a relatively new medium, the BBC decided to have a bit of fun with their audience. They pulled off one of the greatest April Fool's pranks of all time. It was a time when people trusted what they saw on TV without question. They aired a segment about spaghetti trees. Trees in Switzerland, covered in strands of delicious spaghetti, just ripe for the picking. The footage was so convincing that it left viewers in awe. People were calling the BBC left and right, asking how they could get their hands on a spaghetti sapling. The phone lines were flooded with curious and excited callers. When people called in, they told them to place a sprig of spaghetti in a can of tomato sauce and hope for the best. It was a simple yet hilarious response that added to the charm of the prank. Classic. The spaghetti tree hoax became legendary, proving that even the most trusted news sources can have a little fun on April 1st. It remains one of the most memorable pranks in television history, a testament to the power of media and the gullibility of the human mind. Now let's jet set over to Denmark, where they take April Fools to a whole new level with Majkat, which translates to May Cat. Imagine waking up on April 1st to find your front yard covered in cardboard cutouts of cats, or your mailbox stuffed with cat toys. It's like a giant cat party and everyone's invited. Alright, let's head back to the US for a prank that really got people talking. This one had everyone buzzing and scratching their heads. In 1996, Taco Bell decided to pull a fast one on the entire nation. They crafted a prank so elaborate that it made headlines across the country. They announced that they had bought the Liberty Bell. Yes, the iconic symbol of American independence. They even said they were renaming it the Taco Liberty Bell and moving it to Taco Bell headquarters. People were fuming. The public reaction was swift and intense. They stormed the streets, they wrote angry letters. But then, plot twist. The outrage was palpable, with people expressing their disbelief in every way possible. Taco Bell revealed it was all just an April Fool's joke. The big reveal left everyone in stitches. People were relieved, amused, and maybe even a little hungry for a cheesy gordita crunch. It was a masterclass in marketing humor. Now I know what you're thinking, Jimmy. I want to pull off an epic April Fool's prank, but I'm not sure where to start. Well, fear not, my friend, because the key to a successful prank is all in the planning. Some people take April Fools so seriously that they start brainstorming ideas months in advance. So if you're serious about taking your April Fool's game to the next level, grab a notebook, gather your prankster pals, and start plotting. Happy pranking! Thanks for watching, folks. Remember, laughter is the best medicine, so keep those pranks coming and have a fantastic April Fool's Day. Just remember to keep it lighthearted and fun. Hey, if you happen to pull off an epic prank, be sure to let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fun content. See you next time.
Alright, now that we've had our laughs and acknowledged all the amazing fools that just make life a little bit lighter, let's talk about what we can actually learn from them. Because, believe it or not, there's more wisdom in a clownish misstep than you might think. You ever notice how sometimes the fool in a movie, TV show, or even in real life seems to have this crazy carefree confidence? It's like they walk into the room and without a second thought just own it. They're not even worried about looking perfect or having it all together. They're out there doing their damn thing. Awkward, clueless, and totally lovable. Maybe we should be taking a little lesson from that. I mean, think about it. The character of Derek Zoolander, for a second. The guy is so absurdly focused on being the best at one thing: modeling, that it's impossible not to laugh at his inability to recognize how ridiculous his self-obsession is. But here's the kicker. Despite all the ridiculousness, Derek doesn't let it stop him. He just keeps going, stumbling from one catastrophe to the next, and somehow, he still finds success. That's kind of genius in its own way. And while it might not make us the world's most famous male model, it sure as heck teaches us that we don't have to be perfect to keep pushing forward. Now, let's flip the script a little bit and think about how we can bring this mentality into our real lives. In a world that is obsessed with perfection, sometimes we forget that the most beautiful moments come from being imperfect. Think of all the hilarious mistakes you've made in your life. The times you've put your foot in your mouth, messed up on a project, or looked totally clueless in front of a crowd. Completely forgot the lyrics to a song that you were singing when they were right in front of you. Yeah, that happened to me. I'm not afraid to admit it. In the moment, it feels like the end of the world, but guess what? You got through it, and you probably learned a heck of a lot along the way. Especially memorize the lyrics and don't have to worry about looking at the screen. Maybe that's the big lesson from all of these foolish characters. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes, trip over your own feet, and laugh about it. The truth is, those failures are often what makes the best stories. They're the things we laugh about years later and tell our friends, "Can you believe I did that?" And speaking of failing forward, we're going to jump into a few life lessons that come straight from those hilarious, clueless characters we know and love. You might think you're learning how to be a better fool, but the truth is, you're learning how to be more authentic in your own life. So here are some gems for you. Number 1, confidence isn't about being perfect. Remember Derek Zoolander? The guy is all about owning who he is, even if what he is doing is absurd. In a way, that's a great life lesson. Confidence doesn't come from being flawless. It comes from accepting that you don't have all the answers and still stepping into the world with your head held high. It's okay to be a little clueless, as long as you have the guts to keep going. Number 2, own your mistakes. Remember Will Ferrell in Anchorman? Ron Burgundy? The guy who is always messing up, making cringeworthy mistakes, but still managing to own it with the same swagger as if nothing happened? Why does that work? Because he owns his failures. It's not about how many mistakes you make. It's about how you handle them. And Ron Burgundy handles them with the grace of a bull in a china shop. But hey, it works for him. Number 3, embrace your quirks. We can't forget about the lovable Steve Carell in Dinner for Schmucks. Barry's entire life is one long string of awkward social blunders. He's a guy who clearly doesn't fit in, but that's what makes him stand out. Instead of trying to hide his eccentricities, he owns them. So maybe it's time we all took a lesson from Barry. Embrace your weirdness, baby. Maybe it's your sense of humor, your style, or just the way you talk to people. Whatever it is, those little quirks are what make you, you. And there's something to be proud of. Number 4, laugh at yourself. If there's one thing all these characters have in common, it's that they don't take themselves too seriously. Let's be honest. We could all benefit from a little bit more self-deprecating humor. Instead of hiding from your embarrassing moments, why not own them? They're the perfect way to remind yourself that you're human and that it's totally fine to laugh at yourself every now and then. So, as we wrap up this segment, I want to leave you with this. The next time you feel like a fool, or someone makes you feel that way, just remember, it's okay. In fact, it might just be the best thing for you. Sometimes life's greatest lessons come from the moments where we completely fail. I'm talking trip, fall, and then laugh ourselves silly about it. And hey, if you want to live life like a true fool, and I mean that in the best possible way, just think about how these hilarious characters have taught us how to live authentically, to embrace failure, and to laugh a little harder every day. All right, stay tuned, because up next we're talking about how we can apply these lessons to everyday life. We'll be back in just a moment.
Are you tired of endless nonsense? Overwhelmed by unsolicited opinions? Do you feel like you can't escape the constant noise and chatter around you? Wish you could silence the world at the push of a button? Imagine a life where you control the volume of your surroundings. Well, do we have the solution for you? Introducing Mute It All, the ultimate answer to your noise problems. The revolutionary wonder drug that quiets the chaos of modern life. Developed by top scientists and medical researchers, Mute It All, because silence is golden. Enjoy peaceful moments, savor your coffee, and relax in a serene environment. Whether it's your neighbor's barking dog, your coworker's third story about their cat's digestive issues, or, God forbid, your mother-in-law's unsolicited parenting advice, Mute It All has you covered.
Wow, it's like Christmas morning, but every day.
This is life-changing. I haven't heard about quarterly reports in weeks.
But wait, there's more. Isn't just for people. Say goodbye to honking traffic, noisy construction, and yes, your neighbor's aspiring garage band.
Sorry, Chad. No one's hearing your mixtape today.
Doctor, how does Mute It All work?
It's very scientific. We combined advanced sound wave blocking compounds with a sprinkle of wishful thinking to create total auditory bliss.
Side effects may include selective hearing, spontaneous happiness, and an inability to care about unimportant conversations. Mute it all, because sometimes silence really is the answer. Call now and receive our limited time offer. 1 bottle of Mute It All and a free pair of noise-canceling earmuffs. I can finally focus on my work without distractions. Mute It All is a game changer. Mute It All is not just for silencing noise. It also helps you find peace and tranquility in your daily life. Whether you're meditating, working, or just relaxing, Mute It All creates the perfect environment for you. Our users love Mute It All. From busy professionals to stay-at-home parents, everyone finds value in the peace and quiet it brings. Hear from more satisfied customers and see how Mute It All has transformed their lives. Let's dive deeper into the fascinating science behind Mute It All, a revolutionary product designed to transform your auditory experience. Our dedicated team of experts has spent countless years meticulously researching and developing the perfect formula to effectively block unwanted noise, ensuring peace and tranquility. By utilizing cutting-edge technology and innovative techniques, Mute It All guarantees that you experience the ultimate auditory bliss, free from any disturbances. Don't wait any longer. Time is of the essence and every moment counts. Experience the peace and quiet you deserve with Mute It All. Imagine a world where tranquility is at your fingertips. Order now and take advantage of our limited time offer. Don't miss out on this exclusive deal. Remember, silence is golden, and with Mute It All, it's just a button away. Embrace the serenity today.
We all know the feeling, right? You're in a situation, maybe surrounded by people who you trust. And then, boom, you're the butt of the joke. It could be a prank, a dare, or just a simple case of someone thinking it's funny to see you humiliated. But no matter how it happens, it still stings. And we've all been there, whether it's in school, at work, or even in the company of supposed friends. So let's reflect on a time when you were made to look like the fool. A moment where someone saw you as a target for their amusement. Think back to those times. What did you feel in the moment? Embarrassment? Anger? Humiliation? Maybe all three. We've all been there. And yet, here we are. Just like Elton John, still standing, still learning, and still growing. I want to bring in a powerful lesson from the movie Radio, starring Cuba Gooding Jr. and the amazing Ed Harris. If you haven't seen it, Radio is based on a true story about a young man named James Robert Kennedy, affectionately known as Radio, who had developmental disabilities. In the film, the local high school football team, led by the coach, played by Ed Harris, initially sees Radio as an easy target for pranks. They push him into situations where they know he'll do whatever they ask simply because he's trusting and doesn't fully understand the implications of what they're calling jokes. They make Radio do things just to see him squirm, tormenting him with their pranks and the power imbalance. But here's the thing. Through the pain of those moments, through those difficult experiences, Radio learns his worth. He finds his voice, and the people around him eventually realize that what they thought was funny was cruel, and that there's a bigger lesson about empathy and respect. Now, when you reflect on your own experiences, how many times were really about others taking advantage of your trusting nature or your vulnerability? When someone sees you as an easy mark, they may think it's all in good fun, but it can have lasting effects on your self-worth. But just like Radio, you can rise above it. You can learn from those moments. They don't define you, but they do shape you. They can make you stronger, more empathetic, and aware of how you treat others. It's in those moments when you're humiliated or made to feel small that you have a choice. You can let it tear you down, or you can let it teach you about who you are and how you want to treat others. We often learn our most valuable lessons through the hardest of times. That moment where we're made the fool can actually be the turning point to build strength, resilience, and compassion. So here's your mental reset. It's okay to have been made to look like the fool. It's a part of life. It's a part of learning how to navigate this crazy world. And it's a part of figuring out how to handle those who would take advantage of you. Reflect on how you've grown since those moments. Reflect on the person you've become because of them. They don't get to define your worth. You do. So I want you to take a deep breath. Let go of the shame or the embarrassment you still might be holding on to. The next time someone tries to make you the fool, remember, it's not about you. It's about them. And you get to decide how to handle it. You're not just a victim of their pranks. You're someone who can rise above it, laugh at it, and keep moving forward with strength. And I can be a witness to say that when they see you laughing at the jokes that they are making about you, they will eventually stop, because it's not fun when you're enjoying it. Because you're not the fool. You are the one who has learned and grown.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. You know how sometimes you hear about a law and you're like, wait, what? That can't be real? Well, get ready to have your minds blown, because today we're diving headfirst into the wacky world of weird laws. And trust me, these are all 100% legit. Buckle up, because things are about to get strange. First up, we're heading down south to Alabama, where apparently having a sense of humor in church can land you in some hot water. You know how it is, you're sitting there trying to be respectful, and then you see someone sporting a fake moustache so ridiculous you can't help but let out a little chuckle. Well, in Alabama, that chuckle could get you a one-way ticket to the slammer. Okay, maybe not the slammer, but you could get fined. Seriously, it's illegal to wear a fake moustache that causes laughter in church. I mean, talk about a buzzkill, right? Next up, we're hopping across the pond to Switzerland, the land of chocolate, cheese, and apparently very strict guinea pig laws. That's right, folks. In Switzerland, you can't just decide to get one guinea pig. Nope, that would be cruel. Guinea pigs are social creatures, you see, and the Swiss government takes their social lives very seriously. So if you're thinking of getting a guinea pig in Switzerland, you better be ready to double the fun, double the food, and double the... well, you get the picture. Fellas, listen up. This next one is for you, especially if you're the forgetful type. In Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday isn't just a recipe for a week on the couch, it's a crime. That's right, you could be facing some serious consequences for spacing out on that special day. So set those reminders, mark your calendars, and maybe even tattoo it on your forehead if you have to, because in Samoa, forgetting your wife's birthday is a big no-no. Chapter 4. No Donkey Spa Day. Now we're heading to the Wild West, specifically Arizona, where the laws are as unique as the landscape, and trust me, this one's a doozy. In Arizona, it's illegal to let your donkey sleep in a bathtub. I know, it's hard to imagine why anyone would even try this in the first place, but hey, who am I to judge? Maybe your donkey just loves a good bubble bath. But seriously, folks, keep those donkeys out of the tub. You don't want to run afoul of the law in Arizona. Chapter 5, sorry, Napoleon, no pigs allowed. Next up, we're off to France, the land of love, croissants, and apparently some very specific rules about naming your pets. You see, in France, you can't just name your beloved pet pig after a famous French emperor, that's right. Calling your little piggy Napoleon is a big no-no. I guess the French government isn't too keen on porcine emperors roaming the countryside. Can you imagine the headlines? Napoleon the pig escapes farm, demands truffles. Keep those funny faces to yourself. Okay, this next one's for all you pranksters out there. In Oklahoma, you better be careful who you're making funny faces at, especially if they happen to be of the canine variety. That's right, folks. In Oklahoma, you can actually get fined for making ugly faces at a dog. I guess they take their dog-owner relations very seriously in the Sooner State. So next time you're in Oklahoma, keep those funny faces to yourself unless you want to face the wrath of a dog-loving police officer. Now let's talk about food, shall we? specifically fried chicken. In Georgia, they take their fried chicken very, very seriously. So seriously, in fact, that it's illegal to eat it with anything other than your hands. That's right, folks. Put down the forks, hide the knives, because in Georgia, fried chicken is a hands-only affair. I guess they believe that the only way to truly savor the crispy, juicy goodness of fried chicken is to get your hands dirty. And you know what? They might be onto something. Chapter 8, no kilts for you. Next up, we're heading to Italy, the land of pizza, pasta, and apparently some very strict fashion rules for men. That's right, gentlemen. If you're planning a trip to Italy, you might want to leave those kilts at home. Why, you ask? Because in Italy it's illegal for men to wear skirts in public. I guess they're sticking to traditional gender norms when it comes to fashion choices. So, fellas, pack your pants, because in Italy skirts are strictly for the ladies.
Chapter 9, Gumbusters. Okay, this next one's a head-scratcher. In Singapore, a country known for its cleanliness and order, they take their chewing gum very, very seriously. How seriously, you ask? Well, let's just say that if you're caught chewing gum in Singapore, you could be facing a hefty fine or even jail time. That's right, folks, in Singapore, chewing gum is basically illegal. I guess they're not fans of sticky sidewalks and gum stuck under tables?
Chapter 10. Don't scare the Queen. Last but not least, we're heading up north to Canada, the land of maple syrup, hockey, and apparently some very protective laws when it comes to their head of state. You see, in Canada, it's illegal to scare the Queen. That's right, folks. No jump scares, no pranks, and definitely no surprise tickle fights with Her Majesty. I guess they take their royal protocol very seriously up in Canada. So, if you ever find yourself face to face with the Queen, try to keep things polite, respectful, and definitely not scary. That's all, folks. And there you have it, folks. Some of the weirdest laws from around the world. We had giggling moustaches in church, lonely guinea pigs, and even a donkey ban in the bathtub. Who knew the legal world could be so strange and hilarious? Which one surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, while you're there, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more fun content. Until next time, stay weird, stay curious, and most importantly, stay legal.
All right, let's dive into this. God has a sense of humor. And if you need proof, just look at a picture of my sister Shelby as a kid. I'm kidding. Just look at some of the things in this world. Our own lives included, my sister. And you'll see that he loves a good laugh. I mean, we were made in his image, right? So if he has a sense of humor, that means we do too. First, let's hit the Bible with some laughs, because honestly, if you've never laughed while reading the scripture, you're missing out. The Bible is filled with moments that, when you think about them, they are hilarious in their own way. Take, for example, the story of Sarah and Abraham in Genesis 18. God tells Sarah that she's going to have a child. And Sarah laughs. Why? Because she's 90. And she says, I'm supposed to have a kid? Yeah, right, God. That's hilarious. She laughs so hard that when God asks her why she laughed, she denies it. I didn't laugh, she says. Yes, you did, Sarah. God knows what's up. He gave her the giggles on purpose. And let's not forget the story of Balaam and his talking donkey in Numbers 22. Balaam is on his way to curse the Israelites when suddenly his donkey starts speaking. Imagine that. No, I am not reading you the storyline of Shrek. This guy is having a conversation with his donkey. And yet he's so angry that he's not even fazed by the fact that his donkey is talking to him. The Bible literally says Balaam beat the donkey with his staff. Can you picture that scene? God's like, let's just add some humor to lighten up the mood. Now, there's a real deeper reason why God uses humor in the Bible. He wants us to laugh, even at ourselves. Laughing is a release. It's a way of finding joy in the midst of the serious, the painful, and the difficult. Life can get heavy, but God's humor reminds us that we don't have to take ourselves too seriously. And if you need another example, look at Job, one of the most intense books of the Bible. Job's entire world is falling apart. And yet, through it all, he doesn't lose his faith. He has his moments of question, of course, but even in his despair, there's a subtle humor in the way God responds to him. In Job 38, God finally speaks. And he doesn't just give Job the answer to all his suffering. No. God goes into this epic monologue about the mysteries of the universe, asking Job things like, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of this earth?" Like Job had any idea, right? And then God talks about how he created the hippopotamus and the behemoth. Let's be real for a second. God could have just been messing with Job here, giving him the cosmic equivalent of a joke about the world's weirdest animals. But here's the thing. Humor isn't just for fun. It's to teach us. It helps us see things differently. God uses humor to show us how big he is, how creative he is, and how we can't always understand everything in life. But we don't have to have all the answers right now. Sometimes we just need to laugh. Now let's talk about you. Because God made you, my friend, you. And he made you with a purpose, yes, but he also made you to enjoy life. He wants you to laugh. He wants you to be free from the burdens that weigh you down. And he wants you to find joy, even in the crazy, messed up moments. Remember that God is good, and he wants you to experience life, joy, laughter to the fullest. In the New Testament, we hear Jesus talk about the importance of joy and laughter. We look at Matthew 7:7, where he says, "Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you." God isn't just some distant figure waiting for you to trip up. He's a loving Father who delights in giving you good gifts. One of them is laughter. And think about Proverbs. In Proverbs 17:22, it says, "A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones." God knew that laughter was good for us. It's medicine for the soul. A good laugh can lighten the heaviest heart and make life's burdens feel a little easier to carry. But here's the kicker. Laughter doesn't just come from the happy moments. It also comes out of the difficult ones. When we look back and see how far we've come, God wants us to laugh at the struggles, knowing that in the end, we'll be stronger because of them. Just like when Sarah laughed at the thought of having a child at 90, sometimes God's plan doesn't make sense at first, but it's always worth it. God's humor is one of his ways of reminding us that we don't need to take life so seriously, even in the hard times. In fact, he wants you to laugh at yourself. So many times we get bogged down by our mistakes, our insecurities, or the things that didn't go right. But God wants us to learn to laugh at our own flaws and imperfections. Why? Because he made you just the way you are, and he loves you despite those mistakes. So here's a challenge for you guys this week. The next time life throws something at you that's just plain ridiculous, instead of getting frustrated or angry, try laughing. Find the humor in it. You just might find that in doing so, you get a glimpse of God's bigger plan and a reminder that he's in control of it all. And remember, when it all gets too much and you feel like you're just out here being the fool, don't forget, God's got your back. And he has a sense of humor. He made you in his image, and he wants you to laugh with him. And if you find yourself standing face to face with the devil, remember the Bible says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, which means the devil can't hurt you. So look him in the eye, get real close. I mean, real close, awkwardly close, and say, you're in my world now, Grandma. All right, folks, let's take a deep breath and reset. It's time to look back at the week, reflect on how we've been handling the fools in our lives, and get our minds right for the week ahead. Now, I know this last week might have had its ups and downs. Maybe you found yourself in a situation where you feel a little foolish, or maybe you feel something caught you off guard and tested your patience. Life has a funny way of throwing those curveballs at us, doesn't it? But I want you to take a second to think about it. How did you respond? See, we can learn from those moments. We can laugh at ourselves and we can grow stronger. Think of it as life's little tests. Maybe they were embarrassing at the time, but what did it teach you? Every time we face a giant or a fool, every time we find ourselves outside of our comfort zone, we have an opportunity to strengthen our faith, our resilience, and our ability to laugh at ourselves. Take a moment to reflect. Close your eyes if you're not driving or doing something else that you need your eyes open for. I want you to think about what stood out to you this week. What made you feel like you were a fool? And how did you rise above it? Maybe you said something you regret or did something that made you cringe. And guess what? You're human. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be imperfect. And the beauty of it all, you can learn and laugh about it. You can move on. Here's the good news. You're stronger than you think. And you're not alone. We're all on this journey together. And as we reflect on the week, I want you to hold on to this. You are capable. You can handle whatever comes your way because you've made it through everything life has thrown at you so far. Now, let's affirm ourselves. I want you to repeat after me. I am worthy of love and respect. I am strong enough to face anything that comes my way. I can laugh at myself, learn from my mistakes, and keep moving forward. I am more than capable, and I will conquer the giants in my life. Hold on to that truth. Say it every day if you need to. When life gets tough, when those giants start to feel a little too big to fight, remember, you've got this. Well, that's all we've got for tonight, folks. Whether you were the one playing the fool or just on the receiving end of a good laugh at someone else's expense, I hope tonight's show gave you a little extra chuckle and a reminder that we all have our moments where we just need to laugh at ourselves. And hey, if you've ever felt like life has made you out to look like a fool, just remember, you're not alone. We've all been there. Sometimes the best thing we can do is laugh it off and embrace those moments of ridiculousness. So take those positive affirmations with you this week. Don't be afraid to laugh at yourself and find joy in life's silly moments. The world is full of laughter, and we've got to enjoy it while we can. Before we wrap this up, let us close in prayer. God, thank you for the gift of laughter and the ability to laugh at ourselves. In those moments when we feel like fools, help us to find the humor and light in it. Remind us that it's okay to mess up, to make mistakes, and to find joy in those moments. May we always remember that your grace is bigger than our foolishness, and that you are with us in every moment of this journey. In Jesus' name, amen. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We look forward to seeing you next time. Remember, keep laughing, keep learning, and keep embracing those moments when life makes fools out of us. I'll see you next Sunday. I'm Kyle Fields, and that was your Sunday Evening Reset.
This show was hosted by Kyle Fields and written by Kyle Fields and Mary Rodriguez. Production and editing by One Love Media. All content is owned and produced by One Love Media. All rights reserved. Like our new Facebook page by searching Sunday Evening Reset or heading to facebook.com/Sunday Evening Reset. And don't forget to check out our other shows. That's Life with Kyle Fields every Friday. The Survivors series every Wednesday. The Members Lounge, our exclusive members-only show. Available for just $5 a month at patreon.com/OneLoveFLA. Thanks for spending your Sunday evening with us. See you next week for another reset.